The world can feel like a maddening place, with wars and rumors of wars, with natural disasters claiming thousands of lives, with our politicians being bought and sold. Our wallets are empty, our bills keep coming, and the world doesn't feel very fair a lot of the times. Everything seems to keep coming, and coming, and coming, until you just can't take any more. And you think you're going to just lose your mind. You can't turn on the news, you can't talk to friends and family, you can't just go about your day without being bombarded by everything and anything. It's all very overwhelming. It doesn't make sense. How can everything be in so much disarray? And how are you supposed to be at peace when everyone seems to be suffering? Well, you feel like you're suffering. How do you go about being a person who sees the world as one when you hear stories of people's homes being raided and them being killed? How do you go about living with the truth that the world is perfect when there's so many things that say the world isn't perfect? The truth is that the idea of peace and calm and even happiness are all ideas and thoughts in your head, and thus your experience of them feels like a contradiction to the world that you're living in, because they aren't how you define them. Thus you blind yourself to the peace that lives in the chaos. Peace and calm and a life without suffering doesn't mean that you don't face hardships. It doesn't mean that things don't happen that appear on every rational level to be bad. It means that you have a life not attaching your emotions and feelings to these events. You don't define them, for in defining things, you create separation and suffering. And when you're suffering, everything feels like suffering. It's so easy to go down that road, to lose yourself in the chaos of the world, to lose yourself in the chaos of life. In the Bible, it warns about attaching yourself to the world. In the Vedas, it tells us how the world is an illusion. In Islam, one is to detach themselves from the world and attach themselves to Allah. And in Buddhism, it is the desire for life to be different than it is that creates all suffering. All religions have been trying to tell people the same truth. The more we attach ourselves to the world and to our perception of the world, the more we will suffer the world and suffer life. In the chaos that surrounds us, in the chaos that is happening in the world around us, this doesn't mean that we have no place in addressing it or fixing it. It means that we must change the way in which we perceive and think about things. Mother Teresa said, "I was once asked why I don't participate in anti-war demonstrations. I said that I will never do that. But as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there." The secret, or the law of attraction, is often mocked and derided as pseudoscience nonsense. And whether or not it works, it got one thing right, and that was how you perceive things and how you define them will alter the way in which you see and think about the world. If you want people to have rights, then work for people to gain rights. The moment you begin to fight something, the harder it will begin to fight back against you. And the more chaos our society gains from these actions. When hippies and civil rights activists fought against the Vietnam War and Richard Nixon started the war on drugs that would see millions of lives lost and ruined, of which we are still seeing the horrid consequences of 50 years later. Nietzsche once said, "Beware of staring into the abyss, for the abyss can stare back at you." Oftentimes, when we are dealt pain and suffering, when we witness hard and horrible times happening to those we love, or even to strangers, but it pulls on our sense of injustice, we dive in, taking sides and taking stands, and declaring who's right and who's wrong. And in doing that, we draw ourselves deeper into the chaos of the world, deeper into the feeling that everything is wrong. Nothing is the way it should be. Then you start to divide yourself even more, left and right, religious and atheist, Christian, Muslim, or Jew. And the more you separate and divide and create those little boxes, the more you begin to create a world for which you see yourself as something other than the truth of who you are. When I say there is no separation between you and another, when I say that we are all one and that we are the experience of the universe or the divine or whatever you want to call it, when I say that you are perfect and complete, what I'm truly trying to say is that there is nothing to fear in this life. There is nothing to be angry at. There is nothing you need to fight or stop. Instead, when faced with chaos, you can be the one who says again and again, peace. Discovering the very peace that is in you is the peace that is in the chaos. Promote equality. not as a counter to inequality, but as a promotion of a way to live. When you stop seeing the world through the negative lenses, when you stop trying to resist everything that is the world, and you stop fighting everything that isn't what you want, and instead promote the truth of what you want and what you think is right, what you find is that you don't get caught up in the whirlwind and chaos of this life. You are not made to suffer the tragedies and pains of existence, but rather you are the beacon in the world, offering a new way and a new path to peace and happiness and a better life. Nietzsche also said, "Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster." It is only in peace that we can end the chaos. We cannot end chaos by becoming part of the chaos. It will only produce more and more chaos, blinding us and our lives from the peace that we so desperately are hoping to attain. For inside of every bit of chaos lies the unwavering peace of the universe, if we care to look. So be the person to look. Be the person to step out of the need to judge one thing or another, and instead accept what is and offer your love and your call for peace. For you are one with all of this. You are not a separate being. You are this, all of the universe, experiencing itself, here to experience life in this form and in this time. And in that, you have the opportunity to add to the ever whirlwind of chaos and destruction, or be the building call for peace that creates a new horizon and a new world. Only you decide what actions to take. Hey, wait 1 second. I've got something big to share with you. Thanks for watching that video. If you made it this far, you hopefully enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it, we put out one at least every other day. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notifications at the bottom of the video. And keep an eye out for the next video. Also, I'm building a community of people who want to transform their lives over a year. It's called the Cosmic Joke Challenge. If you want to find out what the Cosmic Joke Challenge is, you'll learn that and more in our 100% free Facebook group, which will be growing a library of content not available on YouTube. The link will be available in the description box below. Click it, join, and start transforming your life today.